Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're reviewing the Sarah Jane Adventures story, The Wedding of Sarah Jane Smith, Part 2. This is, of course, the part where we actually get some 10th Doctor in it, because David Tennant does return as the 10th Doctor for this. This was kind of in the lead up in 2009 to the end of time. This story takes place, of course, between Planet of the Dead and End of Time. Probably between the waters of Mars and End of Time, honestly. Where he's learned he's going to die, but he hasn't quite reached End of Time yet. I like this story. I mean, it's very obvious that, Sarah Jane Adventures is a kids show. Some of the effects have that kind of kid look to them. I enjoyed the story. I like Death of the Doctor better between the two Sarah Jane Doctor stories. I do like Death of the Doctor better, but I do enjoy this one. I like the fact that they didn't really use Tennant much in part one. That's kind of the cliffhanger, is him showing up right when everything goes down with the Trickster. I'm not as familiar with the Trickster because I've never seen the other story he's in, because I've only seen like 4 of the Sarah Jane Adventure stories. I'm not a big fan of Doctor Who spinoffs. But I like him as a character. He has a cool design with the face and the white hood and the black hood. It's a cool little design I like for him. I buy that he tricked the guy Paul into thinking he was an angel. That's kind of understandable. I like that while the 10th Doctor is there and helping and doing his thing, and we get some cool time with him and the kids, that's pretty neat. Plus, Tennant hair looks like proper Tennant hair instead of that weird look it has in Day of the Doctor I didn't like. I don't know why that bugged me, but that does. But I like the fact ultimately it is Sarah Jane and Paul that have to actually stop the Trickster. Especially Paul, the man she's trying to marry. Even the Doctor says, "Look, I know you're a good man and I'm sorry." Because Paul, we find out that Paul was supposed to die in the accident that he alludes to. And the only way he can break the agreement with the Trickster is if he, breaks the agreement, which means he'll die. And so he does that. He sacrifices himself to save Sarah and everyone else. Because the Trickster knows Sarah is important to defending the Earth, and without her, the Earth will be ripe for conquer. Because the Doctor can't always be there. Especially, the Doctor is probably on his mind, since at this point he thinks he might be dying soon. So he wants to try to make sure he leaves a protector for the Earth. Plus he wants to take care of Sarah. She's Sarah. And it's not often in Classic Who he called someone his best friend, but he even said that about Sarah. "Have you met Miss Smith? She's my best friend." I love that. So I enjoyed that, watching the bit when they beat the Trickster. The whole thing about them being trapped in a second in different seconds, that's pretty cool. I'm always happy to see more K9. Elizabeth Sladen is great in this. I like some of the incidental music here too, like the bit right at the end when she's in the attic before the Doctor shows up. It has a little piece of music that plays. I think they used that piece of music in the tribute they did to her on the season 14 box set too. I think they used that music. It's a really beautiful kind of melancholy piece of incidental music. It's really nice. And then of course the TARDIS shows up, and I love when the 10th Doctor looks in the attic at Mr. Smith. He's like, "Ooh, I like it in here." I love the way Tennant does that. Tennant is a good Doctor, and there are several aspects of his Doctor that I think are phenomenal. He definitely has that just insatiable curiosity that the Doctor has, that inquisitiveness that the Doctor has, that need to know. So I like when he sees the room, he's like, "Ooh, I like it in here." It's very Doctor. I enjoy that. And then I like when they're like, "Can we see the TARDIS?" He's like, "My TARDIS?" "Yeah, sure, come on." It's cool watching Ronnie and Clyde and everyone run around in the TARDIS and get to see it. I like the little conversation between Sarah and Ten at the end. Again, it's a bit of foreshadowing towards End of Time, since obviously I'm guessing this aired between Planet of the Dead and End of Time. A little more just to build End of Time up, since 2009 was kind of, Tennant's victory lap, really. So I enjoyed that little conversation. Will I see you again? I don't know. I hope so, though. And then even when she turned and left, that look on his face as the door closes, this very apprehensive, kind of scared look, because he doesn't know what's about to happen. He only knows that he's been told he's going to die. So the way it acts, that final shot of him, he does look a little worried, concerned, nervous, scared. It's a good episode. It's a good little story. Again, I'd only seen it once before, so it's nice to go back and revisit it. It was a Patreon request. The Fifth Doctor had asked that I review it. So I did that. I always find it interesting. One of my subscribers calls himself the Fifth Doctor, but that's actually his fourth favorite Doctor. It's weird. The 10th Doctor is his favorite Doctor. I'm surprised he didn't call himself the 10th Doctor. I don't know. That amuses me. But yeah, I enjoyed this story. It was nice to go back and rewatch it. I still prefer Death to the Doctor. I've seen that one probably 7 or 8 or 9 times or 10 times. I watched that one a lot because I actually have the season with that one on it. Plus, it's also on the... it's a bonus on the box set actually for season 10, which is pretty cool. I hope we get maybe The Wedding of Sarah Jane Smith as a bonus for season 13. That'd be cool. I know it's on the David Tennant collection that's over here. I know that. So, that's my thought on The Wedding of Sarah Jane Smith. A fun adventure. It's nice to go back and revisit every now and then. I enjoy the story. The Trickster's an interesting character. I need to go back, I guess, and watch his other story. I know it involves Sarah Jane's parents at some point. And it's nice seeing 10 again. For people who are fans of 10 who maybe haven't ever seen this story, it'll give them opportunity to see more of 10 for the first time, so I recommend that. If you've enjoyed this video, go ahead and click that like button and that subscribe button and the bell for notifications. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support me on that. There's a link to that down in the description below. As I said, this was a Patreon request, so there are different tier levels, and some of them do include monthly requests. I also have a P.O. box if there's anything you would like to send me, as well as a link to my Amazon wish list, which I update regularly. I do want to give a shout out to 2 of my top tier patrons, Stephen Crane and the Fifth Doctor. I appreciate their continued support and the support of all of my patrons. And most importantly, thank you for watching.